Hey everybody, welcome back. Yesterday I went to start the car and unfortunately realised that I have been hit with the dreaded but common battery drain issue on these. So that means that this car is dead in the water. So anybody that knows 996s knows what I'm about to say and how much of a pain in the butt this is about to be for me, because now that this thing's run out of battery, I can't actually access the frunk where the battery's kept. I also can't access the trunk where there's a terminal for me to be able to connect it either. So what I have to do is a couple of things to potentially get in here. The issue being is that when the car runs out of battery and the central locking is activated, there's a clip in here that activates, that stops these levers from being able to be moved. So despite this being a lever that has an actual cable connected to it, I can't now move this. So if you want to see how I'm going to potentially rectify this with a couple of options, stay tuned for part 2. So there's a couple of options that I've got to potentially get access to the frunk here. With this being a 996.1, it's the levers and the cable. If it was a 996.2, it would have an electronic switch, which makes a little bit more sense. You know, there's no battery power coming in, so therefore the switch isn't going to work. But in the 996.2, Porsche have recognised the issue that they had with this, and there's a point within the fuse box that's over there, well, over here actually, that you can attach a battery to that allows you to get in it, whereas these ones, they don't have that. So your options: there are 3 grommets in there that contain screws with 5mm Allen key fitments. You can unscrew them, pop this off, and then move the little clip to the side, or you can go in via the passenger wheel well, remove the liner that's in here, and there's a cable just back there. So stay tuned for part 3 to see what I do next. An alternative option that I've also seen is you can potentially get a pair of tweezers, squeeze them down there, and with a little bit of work you can potentially push the clip that is stopping these from moving and allow you to gain access. It's essentially a more blind way of doing the previous lifting of the trim. However, I plan on using one of these hooked up, hopefully, to the cigarette lighter, which will hopefully give me enough juice to pop the frunk and then attach this to the battery properly. So let's attach it, see how we get on, and leave it for a bit, and I'll report back to see whether or not it worked. I'm dubious, but we'll see. So it turned out that, as I thought, the cigarette lighter and the C-Tech charger wasn't going to work. The adapter just wasn't getting picked up by the cigarette lighter at all. These things happen, they burn out. They don't last for very long, the elements in these things. So I had to resort to pulling the 3 grommets, wrestling with the Allen key down there. It was very tight, especially this one back here, wherever the hole is. I think it's around about here. But anyway, you can see that I am now into the mechanism, and it's this little guy right here that's causing my problems. That's what's stopping this from going back. So if I can flick that out of the way, I should be able to get into the boot. Let me have a look and I'll get back to you. Stay tuned for the next part. Guys, it worked. What an absolute pussy, but it worked. So look, now I have managed to raise the frunk enough to gain access to the battery part. That's what we want. The battery's held in with clips here and clips on that side. Yeah, we're in. Not only that, but the batteries are labelled as well. The terminals are labelled. On these older cars, you'll notice there on the battery connectors, there's nothing to tell you which one's positive and which one's negative. So what is advised is to take note of where they are and wrap some red tape or something similar along the terminal. I don't have any at the moment, so I'm just going to have to remember, but I am going to be fitting these eyelets fitted, quick connect point working, C-Tech now doing its thing. I'm going to leave it doing what it needs to do for an hour or so. Keep an eye on the weather. Thinking about touch and go, but hopefully we will have enough juice to get the car turned over and into the garage where I can connect this up a bit more permanently over winter. But there we go. The main dilemma of being locked out of the frunk has been solved by lifting the trim there. There we go, look at that, back up and running. Battery fully charged overnight, hooked back up, started first time. So next port of call is at some point in the near future, get all this stuff packed away, tidied away. I'm going to disconnect the battery for now, and I am going to find a way to connect it up to the trickle charger for a long, more permanent solution while storing over the winter. But yeah, that has been a hell of a journey. I'm glad that we got it sorted, I'm glad that we got it in the frunk, and the car has started again. That is reassuring, and ultimately I didn't break anything, so there we go. Right, all the best, and thanks for watching these small short series of how to fix a 996 with a dead battery. All the best.